How is it going today? Well, it's my name's Dwayne.
My name's Jazz.
We're Dwayne and Jazz till we have film theory. What is Ultra Shaggy's true power level?
Man,
Scooby Doo and Dragon Ball Z. Me. And if you guys have any extra, please follow us on social media. Don't forget to
subscribe.
I'm in.
What does the Stouter say about his power?
Oh no.
1,000!
There's no
A classic.
Right.
I mean, seriously, that can't be right. Here, let me show you.
How are you gonna do math on a me?
Oh, I have no idea.
No idea.
This channel is really great turtleneck swears and grab the classes. Today we're taking our first
I know what he said.
that
Right.
shows that monsters are really just
Sully.
people with access to extremely convincing rubber masks. Scooby Doo, a show that sustained itself as a staple of children's cartoon.
Scooby
Oh, they love
Doo looks good.
Late 60s.
Pause real quick. Let's talk about how we know that Shaggy was high as hell and we was little kids didn't know what the hell was going on.
Shaggy was drugs. He was weed. For
He
sure.
was. They were smoking
always on the
marijuana in
munchies. He was always on the
Scooby Doo,
munchies
and we
all the
never.
time.
I'm like, Scooby man, I'm so hungry.
We never put two and two together.
Right.
We were kids just watching Blakely.
You want some Scooby snacks? Scooby snacks is. What is it, like brownies laced with
Lace.
and then the mystery machine.
Yeah.
Let's go on it.
60s. I mean, think about that. A show your grandparents watched as kids is still relevant today. Next
They
thing
keep
you know, we're
redoing
seeing
it.
Yeah.
Flintstones with Bam Bam dabbing and wearing Supreme.
Oh my god.
Where Scooby, Fred, Velma, Shaggy, and Daphne have found their home lately has been in the Memeverse, joining the hallowed ranks of SpongeBob, Shrek, and Elon Musk. And of those memes, one in particular has impressed us with its power level. Literally. Ultra
Oh my god.
Shaggy. Now, in case you had better things to do with your time than scour the internet looking for the meme of the week, heck, that's too generous. Meme of the day if it's lucky. Comes one that started at the end of last year and really took off back in January. It
Oh, that's the real
a somewhat
Shaggy.
unusual scene in the made-for-TV movie Scooby Doo: Legend of the Phantasaur.
I didn't
All
even see
beautiful
that one.
footage.
Look at that, look. They like slowed him
Just
down
a
and
typical cartoon
everything.
fight scene, right? Well,
No.
kinda. But Shaggy's calm demeanor and his ability to predict his opponent's moves got YouTuber Midya to remix the scene with some Dragon Ball Super music.
Right.
opening the
It was so
floodgates to
hilarious.
Dozens of spin-off memes. A new Z Warrior entered the fray. Ultra Instinct Shaggy. Fight Goku!
Oh my gosh.
Ultra Instinct Shaggy holds firm. Ultra Instinct, by the way, is a reference to the latest and
Dragon Ball
strongest
Super.
transformation for Goku in the Dragon Ball
If you ain't
series.
hip, get to
Basically,
it.
some intergalactic jelly beans decide to hold a tournament of power because no season of Dragon Ball is complete without one of those across multiple universes, with all the losers getting erased. So to save his
Which is
universe,
all
Big
technically
Six Goku
Goku's
needs to
fault.
achieve his new level, which unlocks
So.
all the powers that he's ever had access to before, as well as any potential power he still has dormant. It's hard to unlock.
Man,
it's
their
even
fight
harder
was
to master
long.
when it comes to complete
It wasn't
a new hair color
time-wise,
for
but
saying
episode-wise,
white. Here
yeah.
everyone's
Yes.
making fun of me with my purple hair. Long story short, true to Dragon Ball tradition, Shaggy becoming a Z Warrior prompted all sorts of speculation and joking about his new power level. Competition even went around to get him included into the new Mortal
Yeah, everyone
Kombat
was
game,
talking about that. Like, you know
Right.
he's gonna be in the game? Like, he's not going to be in the game.
Awesome tweet from series creator Ed Boon. So I thought I'd try my best at being a scouter device today to explore
Oh my
what's
gosh.
really going on with Shaggy. How is this character, 60 years into his career, been able to harness this newfound power? And what exactly is
That Shaggy was the
newfound power?
most
Can it
perfect
be
real-life
quantified?
Shaggy, I think.
What
Yeah.
is his power level? To find out, tune in next time to Shaggy
Shaggy
Ball
Ball
Z.
Z.
Oh my gosh.
Or you can just keep watching this episode of Film Theory. To start, we'll need to understand the source of Shaggy's power.
Look at
Shaggy.
What makes this meme?
Is he riding motorcycles?
Yes, I've never seen him ride a motorcycle. What in the world?
Character. He's always the coward.
Always
for him to
running
suddenly
away.
become such a skilled fighter is unexpected, to say the least.
Right.
Luckily, Legend of the Phantasaur explains the transition. And in case you're wondering about what a Phantasaur is,
A
it is
ghost
literally
dinosaur?
a phantom dinosaur.
Okay.
I get
Got it.
Ding, 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 ding.
60 years
Got
of
it.
people wearing rubber masks. You gotta start stretching for new ideas.
Right.
Meanwhile, on a standard Scooby-Doo style adventure, Shaggy finds himself locked in a dark cupboard filled with monster masks.
Oh
This
no!
sends him into a catatonic state with
I got traumatized.
Acute threat avoidance hypertrophy disorder.
and he's ordered not to investigate any more scary scary mysteries, or even step foot into the mystery machine.
He told him
Oh,
to
wow.
the mystery machine. That's why I repainted.
The mustard
So to
machine?
try and cure Shaggy from this crippling fear, the gang decided to try hypnosis.
No, it's more like hypnosis, but not the boring old-fashioned kind of hypnosis. Psycholuminescent reprogramming.
What?
PLR.
The PLR process hypnotizes Shaggy so that when he hears the word bad, he literally becomes fearless until he hears the word again. And
Oh,
this
wow.
isn't nearly as unrealistic as it might first sound. You see, Shaggy starts out diagnosed with acute threat avoidance hypertrophy disorder, a disorder that doesn't really exist. But if we break down the meaning of each of those words, we can actually find some pretty similar real-life issues. Acute just means that the symptoms
Small.
come on suddenly.
Oh.
Threat avoidance is obviously referring to Shaggy's overwhelming
Yeah.
fear responses. Hypertrophy just means to enlarge. So while cardiac hypertrophy
Okay.
may be problematic because you have an enlarged heart, muscle hypertrophy would actually be rather desirable because you got yourself those gains, son. In this case, the enlargement that we're talking about would be of the threat avoidance area of the brain, which is the amygdala. In real life,
Oh my
amygdala
God.
hypertrophy is a real thing.
Wow.
When someone is suffering the effects of acute stress disorder. Similar
Whoa.
to, and often a precursor to post-traumatic stress disorder, sufferers of acute stress disorder find themselves overreacting to negative stimuli after some traumatic event, just like we see happen with
Wow.
Shaggy after he gets himself trapped in that monster closet.
That
And
is
believe it or not,
terrible.
true to the movie, hypnosis has actually been shown to help reduce the effects of acute stress
I always
disorder.
wondered
Wow.
if hypnosis was a
Really
real
worked.
thing.
Here is
Right.
actually rooted in some real-life science. At least way
I don't
more
think I
real-life
could be
science than I ever
hypnotized.
would have expected. But then, how does all this explain him turning into Son Goku? Well, the Ultra Instinct fight scene that started this whole thing happens while Shaggy's in one of those fearless states.
Oh.
In the movie, Mr. Hughley makes the point of saying that his PLR is more powerful than your standard versions of hypnosis.
This is completely different.
It's so powerful, in fact, that it even reprograms Hughley himself later on in the movie.
Oh.
So it seems likely that what Shaggy is undergoing here is a hypnotically induced Super Saiyan-like transformation.
And then he
A
magically
concept
knows how to
that, for
fight.
as absurd
Right.
as it sounds, once again, is unbelievably backed up by real-world science.
That's
This
insane.
science back in the 50s and 60s
Oh.
believed so strongly in the power of
To make
hypnosis
super
that in the
soldiers?
1956 Olympics, they had 11 hypnotists come along with them. It
What?
seems ridiculous, right? Until you start looking at the
For
numbers.
what?
The Soviets managed to out-medal the Americans that year, 98 medals to 74. Now, obviously,
Wow.
this isn't really a transformation, and it's more correlation than it is causation. Otherwise,
Okay.
you would see all countries bringing all sorts of hypnotism.
Right.
Every
to the games.
hypnotist.
No, the scientists who studied hypnosis tend to conclude that it helps put athletes into a flow state, a mental state of being fully immersed in the activity that they're doing.
Oh, to have no
They're
distractions.
The zone.
What they're doing at that very moment. The crazy thing about all of this is that it's almost identical to how Ultra Instinct is described. It's how Goku is able to unlock
So
this new
Goku's in the
transformation
zone.
in the first
His
place.
focus.
Ultra Instinct requires that the fighter literally stop thinking, stop overanalyzing, and just exist in the moment.
Well, that's
Just
the
like
key
users
word,
of it are able to
instinct.
react instantaneously to attacks that are happening around him. It's also why Vegeta, with his highly analytical mind, struggles when he tries to master Ultra Instinct form. He's overthinking. He can't clear his mind enough to enter the necessary flow state.
I thought it was just
so
the
does that
anger,
make
too.
Shaggy the
Pride,
Scooby
too.
Doo god
So-
tier equivalent of Goku? Well, not quite. Power levels in the Dragon Ball series are usually determined by scouter devices, measuring
Super
the
Saiyan
amount
4
of
at the bottom.
energy that's possessed by a single character. Although this number should theoretically remain somewhat stable throughout your lifetime, intensive training, natural aging,
Oh my
and form
gosh.
changes such as going Super Saiyan can change your total power levels. Shaggy is still bound by his human limitations and lack of training, though his reaction time certainly is faster when he's in this quote-unquote Ultra Instinct mode. He
It's
still
still
needs
human.
time to think about how he reacts to attacks, and he's missing out on all of those really nifty glow effects.
When he first went to that,
That was so hype.
very, very cool.
Very hype moment right there.
And also that little
Exactly
form that was in the
is his
movie.
power level.
Mhm.
In addition to his
That we got
fight
like a
with
short
Spider-Man,
little
Shaggy's
glimpse of.
other shining moment comes at the end of the movie when he leaps across a river, jumping up a set of falling rocks to reach a hole in the roof. Shaggy is now jumping from a falling rock and gaining a huge amount of altitude from each jump. So not only is Shaggy having to create enough force to jump from rock to rock, but he's also having to do it before the rock he's on loses too much of its own altitude. User Brendala on LiveJournal actually shared a collection of old Scooby Doo comics with information about all of the characters.
Oh,
and
wow.
Shaggy's height is given at 6 foot. or 1.822 meters. So using Shaggy as a ruler in this
This is
shot,
ambition.
we
It says
estimate that
none.
Shaggy is crossing about 5.5 meters in the course of about 3 seconds, using 3 separate hops. Shaggy also has to at least maintain his altitude, and in fact we see him gaining in altitude with the subsequent 2 hops, bouncing over a meter off of each rock as he waits for the next rock to fall. Now consider how this needs to work for Shaggy.
A lot of power.
In a force diagram of jumping, the ground isn't moving, so it's exerting a force equal to your weight accelerated by gravity into the ground. When you want to jump, all you need to do is exert some extra force downward into the ground, and that propels you up off of it. But now imagine the ground is also accelerating downwards at the same speed.
You
just
have to
we
do
see
more
the
than
rocks
that?
do in the
Yeah.
sea. Sure, you can still jump off of them, but actually gaining any additional height is going to be significantly harder. Instead of getting the full, equal, and opposite effect of your downward push, you now have to account for the fact that the rock is falling as well. Instead of force equals mass times acceleration like it would normally be for any sort of jump, now it becomes force equals mass times acceleration to account for your jump, plus mass times gravity to account for the falling rock.
Wow.
We see Shaggy hit
It's a
4
lot of
in
math.
total, and 3 that we see a good measure of. His collision time with each of them takes about 2 to 4 frames each, about 1 to 2 tenths of a second. So if we factor all of this in, along with Shaggy's listed 160 pounds or 72.5 kilogram weight, we find that each single leap that Shaggy is making is going to take an astonishing 5,428 newtons, or 1,220 pounds of force.
Wow.
Now, in 2014, Zydrunas Zavickas set a world deadlift record of 1,155 pounds, and
Good
Shaggy
Lord.
has to beat
Wow.
that 3 times in the course of a couple
Good
seconds.
gracious.
That is superhuman levels of strength. Not quite the power of flight, but he's getting pretty darn close. And in the Dragon Ball universe, flight or high jumps are definitely something that we can use to help calculate overall power levels. Now, the Dragon Ball Encyclopedia Daizenshu 7 has an incredibly comprehensive look at various characters' power levels throughout the series.
Oh, we need to look at that.
Right.
To give some rough comparisons to Ultra Instinct Shaggy. So let's look at Shaggy's power set. Shaggy has fast reaction times, above average strength, and the ability to almost fly, but not quite. His jumping ability is just really good and really fast. Where Shaggy hits his clearest limitation is not being able to create any sort of energy or key-related blasts. Now, looking across the franchise's history, the original Dragon Ball series is the only time that we see this level of more grounded, realistic fighting. Before
Right.
Yeah,
power levels
they were
start to
training.
grow out of control.
Yeah.
During the 23rd World Martial Art Tournament, we see Goku square off against his future wife Chi-Chi. During the course of their sparring, we see her demonstrate many of the same skills that Shaggy uses. Fast reflexes and superhuman jumps, but no actual flying. So according to the encyclopedia, her power level at the time was 130.
Wow.
The power level
Yeah.
up that we see from there is 139, as showcased by Jackie Chun, aka Master Roshi in disguise.
Who's a Jackie
during the
Chun?
First World Martial Arts Tournament. Here, he demonstrates many similar skills as Chi-Chi. Fast reflexes, stronger attacks than normal, except there is one key difference.
Key
or
blast.
should I say, key
Right.
difference. Ah, get it?
Yeah, we get it. Yeah.
K-I. Anyway,
Stop.
Jackie Chun's battles against both Yamcha and Goku
Imagine
shows
using
his
Jackie
ability to
Chun.
harness
Right.
related attacks. The Yamcha battle in particular shows why Shaggy wouldn't be able to hold his own in a fight like this. As such, Ultra Instinct Shaggy's power level is best estimated as comparable to Chi-Chi's, level 1.
Oh, wow.
Like,
Daggone. This gonna kill
we
me.
definitely know that it's going to fall somewhere between
It's gonna kill
130 and 139. Man, I feel like a dork
Eek.
with you right now.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
not 130, but it's also definitely not a 139, so let's give it a 130 and a half.
0.5.
I might change that number later, but that's what we're going to go with now. That being said, it's worth noting that all of this is without Shaggy doing any training. Up until this point, he's just been a hippie
Oh, well, that's
that's out
true.
there
Yeah.
running away from his
Goku had been
Given a little
training.
practice with Master Roshi and the gang,
Right.
Shaggy could absolutely ascend, reaching higher and higher power levels until finally he's able to stay just as useless as the other Z fighters on
Because
the
he was-
sidelines as they watch Goku do all the work. Hey,
Aw.
at least he won't die as much as Krillin. So
Oh
Shaggy's
my
power
God.
level might be a bit
See,
disappointing.
people see that.
Definitely not
Krillin
enough to
is
match Goku. But you know where the two
not the
are?
best.
Never
Comparable
Krillin.
appetites on that one. Shaggy
remind me, you
might
something
truly
good.
have Goku beats. But hey, that's just
I'm
a
sorry.
theory. Oh,
Wait.
Bill.
Hold on. Hey.
That video was the video that
Yo.
made me jive, was when they edited Shaggy in to start beating up Sasuke. Okay.
Yeah,
The
you
way
picked him up,
you picked
right.
him up and put him on a wall. I was like, oh my god.
Hey, like, Not bad, Sasuke, man. You made me use
And they had the music
10% of
playing.
my Oh, the Shaggy music was
Oh
so
my
good.
God.
Oh, but now we based in reality and find out he's 130.5.
Which is like basic.
This is back in Dragon Ball era.
Right.
It's not even over 9,000.
And Goku is way over the top.
Right.
So it's
Oh
kind
my
of like,
goodness.
it
Aw.
kind of kills the meme. He kind of killed the meme with math. Killed it with math. See, math ruins everything.
Math ruins.
Math is not
It's
fun.
everything.
Math ruins everything.
But he was only using 1% of his power, so 0.0.
Okay, but then he'll still, like you said, be like Krillin.
Okay, don't
'Cause he can't-
disrespect
he can't-
Shaggy like that.
He can't do it.
Don't disrespect my guy Shaggy like that. My
Hey,
guy
I didn't do what math did. I didn't do that.
Okay. All right. Anyway, you guys have any extra? Oh, I'm low.
Look at you. You always
I'm
do
using
this.
1.0% of my brain.
Your
Anyway,
brain.
comment below, guys. Tell us what you think.
Don't forget to like and share this.